In the late 1960s, as the airline industry took off, cruise vessels that had previously been the world's predominant form of global transportation became recreational pleasure crafts. Today, the cruise line industry is still growing. According to the Port of Metro Vancouver, passenger ridership has increased by 22% since 2012 alone. Vessels have also increased in size. Though the idea and intention behind a pleasure cruise is supposed to be a delightful, carefree experience, the environmental impacts of this industry must also be taken into consideration. Often referred to as floating cities, cruise ships produce massive amounts of waste and sewage along with air pollution. Human impacts upon our world have grown to a point of concern. As more attention is being paid to our terrestrial cities and the environment, it is no wonder that a mega industry is also being closely examined. Larger waste streams have bigger impacts, and critics argue that as a booming economic industry, state-of-the-art sewage treatment and air pollution mediation devices should not be a problem to install. However, sustainable strategies may be harder to implement as stricter regulations need to be updated and enforced for the health of our oceans. The interconnectedness of the Earth's seas makes this issue a global one. Adding to this complex problem, different coasts and governing bodies have different standards. Luckily, the International Maritime Organization works to reduce pollution in our oceans. The IMO developed a marine pollutants protocol, known as MARPOL, or the International Convention for the Prevention of Pollution from Ships. Annex 4, the Prevention of Pollution by Sewage from Ships, contains requirements to control pollution of the sea by sewage. The discharge of sewage into the sea is prohibited, except when the ship has in operation an approved sewage treatment plant, or when the ship is discharging comminuted or broken down and disinfected sewage using an improved system at a distance of more than 3 nautical miles from the nearest land. Sewage which is not broken down or disinfected has to be discharged at a distance of more than 12 nautical miles from the nearest land. Cruise routes off the coast of BC predominantly travel to Alaska, but there are also many cruises originating from Vancouver which travel down the coast of North America to Hawaii, and some even go as far as New Zealand. Fortunately, ships traveling to Alaskan waters are well equipped with advanced wastewater treatment systems, as required by Alaska cruise ship law. Here we can see protected park areas and marine protected areas. Contaminated water has negative impacts on the marine environment. People exposed to contaminated waters are known to have gastroenteritis and upper respiratory illnesses. Increased nutrients in waters leads to algal blooms and even dead zones, which lack CO2. Increased algal blooms are linked to red tides, which also contribute to ocean acidification. Polluted oceans affect the economy as well, as contaminated seafood does not sell. It is important to note that sewage can also enter the ocean via streams, rivers, and problematic combined sewer outfalls of municipalities, particularly during storm events. So what can we do? Choose a cruise line that is conscious of its environmental impact. Friends of the Earth has published an annual cruise ship report card since 2009. More research must be done to advance our understanding of our effects on the ocean and develop new technologies we can use to lessen our impact.